man, this is good. I gotta say, at first I had mixed feelings towards this game. Seriously, out of all the games I played this year, Hades gave me the most anxiety, and I thought I was never going to beat the game until I started noticing I was actually making progress. And that is this game in a nutshell. Coming into this game got me thinking I was out here getting my ass kicked until I bought this fountain thingy that lets you know how many times you attempt to escape. And surprisingly, I actually didn't die that much. It took me up to 35 attempts to beat you-know-who, and to beat the game, since apparently the average player would take approximately about 60 to 100 attempts to actually complete this game. So yes, I am indeed satisfied. If you have no idea on what's going on or what I'm talking to be more specific, I'll get into all that in a moment to talk about this action role-playing game developed by Supergiant Games that released on September 17th of this year for Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, whatever that is, and of course on the Nintendo Switch. At the moment, it is not on any other platforms, but I still would highly recommend this game, and here's why exactly. So many things I could have criticized for this game, but the more I played through it, the more I started to understand on what was going on. My reasons for even touching this game was not only it was announced as Game of the Year contender, but also received high ratings from many critics and fans, and after completing the game, I can understand why. I normally don't play games like this, but when I do, I'm expecting less from what I anticipate, and oh man, I was wrong. My first death was a trap kill, and it was unfortunate since I did record the footage, as you can clearly see. And when you die, you don't actually die since you're gods, you're pretty much immortal. Hades takes place in Mount Olympus, and your main objective is to attempt to escape to the underworld on a quest to search for the mother of Zagreus, and you get help from the Olympic gods, which I'll talk more about these characters later. And what I love most on this game is that it provides varies and ways to play the game however you want. My favorite weapon is obviously the spear. Like, holy shit, I'm a beast. I don't play. You as the player get to decide on how you want to play the game. You can either observe, interact with characters, or just right into the game, praying you won't die since you are a god. I just love the overall experience. Hades is like a love and hate relationship with me. I was being bipolar with this game. Like, one minute I say good game, very good game. When I overcame something, then the next, when I don't have the right equipment on my runs, I start saying bad game. When you die, you start all the way from the beginning. That was when I was thinking, yeah, I might not ever play this game ever, because I was quite upset when I found out you lose all your progress. Literally, when you die, you start all the way from the beginning. At least that's what it seemed first. I felt as if I was getting nowhere until I started to access what I needed, like the Pierce Butterfly. Easily the best thing to equip in the game. It will save you all the trouble. You'll increase the amount of damage you do to your opponents, even a chance for critical hits. The game consistently doesn't leave the player hanging. There's always another way out if you feel hopeless. This game is fun as hell. You will never see me getting bored playing this fascinating piece. I am so glad I didn't miss the opportunity to play this game, since it is a contender of Game of the Year reminder. Some minor flaws that I'll talk about getting into the game design, but still overall great quality. There are so many characters in this game overall with great cast, chemistry, and likable. It's hard for me to say who I actually hate because, well, probably none, except for the enemies in the game, of course. So I picked a balanced amount, starting with the Olympian gods, who throughout your journey will provide you these things called boons, or bonds, whatever they're called, and cast anything that can make you stronger, and they are all very good characters, and some are hilarious. My personal favorite is Poseidon, or however you pronounce the dude's name. I love that guy. And Ares. They're like your uncle, so yeah, obviously. Zagreus is the main character who you'll play throughout the journey, and I really love this character. He's humorous, kind, and relatable. You know how you come home from work and complain how terrible your day was? Well, yeah, that's pretty much him. Very relatable character. Love him. I'm going to find who voiced this character, because holy shit, what a fucking beast this guy is. Hades is pretty much trying to stop you from getting out of the underworld and is angry his son. He's kind of an asshole in the story, but I cannot find myself ever hating this character. Once you play through the game, at least, of course. A supporting and motivating character throughout the game is also your quote-unquote mother. You'll understand if you've played through the game that is also pretty much the opposite of Hades. So think of what I said about him, but the opposite. And well, you get her. There are two things I love to talk about on this channel. And y'all already know what those two things are by now with my reviews. But the gameplay is fucking amazing. I don't have to say anything. It speaks for itself. Like, oh man. Like, when you play it for yourself, the experience is so much better. However, there are things I must say, like enemy placements. Like, it's just a mess, especially when you face more than one of these witches all at once when they have full shields, unless you have the items to do 400% to shield. Good luck trying to stop them with the shitty loadouts you get sometimes, in the early game especially. Other than that, it's cool that you can use the environment to your advantage, although that can also be quite the challenge as the environment is challenging itself. But the game's difficulty balance in a way, okay, it was hard first because I sucked then. But it's much easier because I don't suck now. And I love video games like that. Based on skill and luck, it shouldn't be that difficult. Here we go. I have a lot to say when it comes to the boss fights, and oh, they're all good. Maybe except for one of them. What I believe make these bosses harder is what's around you, since you're not just focusing on one enemy, obviously since it's more of a movement strategy based combat, so you can't play carelessly thinking you have the high ground. You're just gonna get fucked over and over until you learn your lesson. Apparently some people died to Vermin, that tiny bastard. Honestly, I always hated having to fight that little shit. The Fury Sisters was kind of a pain in the ass, but the first one you face isn't hard. In fact, she's the easiest of all. I still find it hard to believe the crossbow was the first weapon that got me the farthest to reach the first boss. Quite surprising. I suck ass with that weapon. I was killing it more than they were killing me. I also faced a bull and a guy with the spear, probably the best boss fight mechanic wise in the game. It's challenging since you're facing both of them at once, and I didn't record that footage since they kept taking my extra lives. Like, fuck you guys, I earned my shit fair and square. But out of all these bosses, these great fantastic bosses, there is one main antagonist in the story that is not only my personal favorite, but is undoubtedly the hardest in the game. Alright, this is when I usually talk about spoilers, which are usually my favorite parts. So I'm gonna give y'all the count of 5 to dip. So here it goes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, this is just my favorite part. But anyways, remember when I said that Hades stops you from trying to escape the underworld? Well, yes, he literally does, as in he stops you himself. He is no joke. At first I couldn't even reach him. Them big ass rats from the dungeons kept stopping me like, yo, what man Splinter at? Jokes aside, he punishes. I mean, some serious beatdowns. What I don't like is what I complained on with the enemy placements. Except not only you're going to have to worry about Hades attacks since all of them hits hard, but the enemies he spawns at are shielded. There's an enemy that even shields him. What the heck? So you have no other choice but to try and take out the shields as much as you can. Otherwise, big man doesn't have the patience. So either kill or be killed. Beating him was my favorite part of the game, no doubt about it. I was so hyped, and reaching for the point of the entire game, reaching to find his mother, is one of my favorite moments of this year's games that I've played. And after that, you start from the beginning. Since you're signed under a contract that you can't leave the underworld anyways, like wow. But you can always replay it to know about his mother anytime. Like if I want to do that, I beat the game. I'm not trying to do that shit all over again. But still, really good game. Hades is not at all what I expected coming through this game and starting to play it as I kept getting better and better. It's not hard to see why Hades is Game of the Year contender, from the settings to the tone and the epic soundtracks along with it. It's more valid than what it has to offer. The story is the highlight of this game, and Supergiant had an idea to balance a game like this to become outstanding. I give Hades an 8 out of 10. Truly significant. Great project. I still have other games and reviews along the way like Ori, Hyrule Warriors, Chronos that recently just came out. Looking forward to all that and hope to see you all check that out, you know. Thank you so much for your support. See through this video see through it all. It really means so much to me, and I have so many other videos I want to get out. Trust me, I worked my ass off just trying to get the games. Imagine trying to do all this shit. This is my favorite part of this channel. I always love to talk about some of the highlights that I really enjoy of these games, and Hades were one of them. Definitely a great contender of Game of the Year. Doesn't matter who wins except for one specific game. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this video. Make sure you check more of them out. Link in the description down below. And yeah, see y'all soon. Hope you check out the next videos. Peace.